Hello and welcome back to the quest for pace. I completed my sub 3-hour marathon attempt in 2 hours, 56 minutes and 34 seconds. I am still super excited about this result. I am over the moon. It is such an overwhelming feeling to have completed this super big personal goal. Wow, I am, as said, over the moon. It is fantastic. So yeah. Now, after I completed my sub 3-hour marathon, I like to discuss a little bit my race strategy. My race preparation, the final phase of it, began on Friday. I did my sub 3-hour marathon attempt on a Tuesday, so I had a really short taper phase. I noticed that my body does not like so much of a big and long taper phase. Instead, my body prefers to basically come right out of high intensity training into the race, and then the body is ready. Then the body feels super prepared, super ready. And so I thought, let's once again have just a very short and minimal taper phase. My approach was to keep the volume the same, but to reduce a little bit the intensity. So on Saturday I did my usual longish run in combination with a park run. I just kept the intensity lower than I would usually do. On Sunday I did a 1 hour long burpee training session. There it was not so much about cardio and building up some stamina, it was more building up fatigue resistance as well as strength. So there was also a rather low training session on Sunday. On a Monday, instead of doing my usual 12 times 400 meter repeats, I only did an 11 kilometer long, somewhat easy, medium paced run, which just resulted in some good volume but some lower intensity. So yeah, this was my taper phase with respect to my training. Nothing really to write home about. Most of you might say, hey, that's crazy, this is not a taper phase, but as said, it worked for me, and yeah, I think my body just likes to be at a somewhat higher level of intensity to get into a race instead of having a longer taper phase where in the end I just feel sluggish and not really in a good state for being in a race. The taper phase also resulted in me cutting out all meals that include a lot of fiber. So all my meals were based on either potatoes, rice, noodles, bread, all that stuff that is easily digestible. I of course added some eggs or some salmon to it to also have some good protein intake, but yeah, that's it. So nothing that really included a high level of fiber, because I really wanted to avoid to have some issues with my digestive system during the sub 3-hour marathon attempt. It worked really well. The day itself, so Tuesday, I got up 2 hours before the start of the sub 3-hour marathon attempt, 90 minutes before the start of the race. I drank 1 small cup of coffee, I ate 1 small bowl of oatmeal, and I ate 1 banana. Then, just a few minutes before the start of the race, I enjoyed a pouch of Morton energy gel. So I found out during my long runs in preparation to the sub 3-hour marathon run that Morton energy gels are the ideal gel for my body. I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed those with caffeine in it because yeah, they gave me some additional energy, some additional power, and I think this also helped me to keep strong during the race. It worked really well. Nutrition-wise, fueling-wise, during the race, I consumed 2 pouches of this Morton energy gel, and I roughly drank 1 liter of plain water. So I did not add anything to the water, it was just really this bottle filled with some tap water. And I said 2 pouches of the energy gel. I drank a few sips of water about every 5 kilometers. I must really say it is just about every 5 kilometers because I was supported by a very good friend. She was cycling along and she had all the fuel in her backpack. So when I called out to her, hey, I like to drink something, I like to have an energy gel, she had to stop, get the bottle out of the backpack or get the energy gel pouch out of the backpack, then catch up with me, hand it over. So by the time I might have been already at 5.5 kilometers or anything like this. So it's not like in a prepared, planned, official marathon race, however you want to call it, where you have some support stations every 5 kilometers or so. In this case it was just myself, supported by a very good friend, running along the road to complete the marathon distance. It was a completely different race environment, but I prefer this. I really prefer this to face this challenge, to face the challenge of running a sub 3 hour marathon somewhat alone and not in this huge racing environment where lots of spectators are cheering for me or so. I felt it must really be a true challenge, a true personal challenge, just me and the clock, just me against the clock in this case. So yeah, this was also somewhat of my reasoning why I did this more or less alone. And yeah, so I consumed about 2 to 3 sips of water every 5 kilometers. When I had an energy gel, I consumed some water before the gel, I consumed the gel and I had some water afterwards. The gels I took around kilometer 15 and kilometer 30. So I had 2 gels during the run and I felt this was more than enough. With my breakfast I had prior to the race, I already felt pretty well. I noticed during the long runs leading up to this sub 3 hour marathon run, I don't need so much nutrition intake during a long run. And yeah, just 2 pouches of energy gel were enough for me. I don't want to push it and take in more than I actually need, because in the end I would have resulted or have had some stomach issues, and I really wanted to avoid these stomach issues. So yeah, this was my race strategy. This was the strategy leading up to the start of the sub 3 hour marathon run. Now we also have to discuss the race pace strategy, and for this I think we can take a look at my Strava, at the Strava record of my sub 3 hour marathon run, where we can really see all the splits for each and every kilometer, what I did. And yeah, so let's take a look at my race. Alright, here we are in my Strava. This is the entry of my sub 3 hour marathon run. As you can see up here, in total I covered a distance of 45.92 kilometers. This is due to the fact that I started the run right at the place where I live. I used the first kilometer to warm myself up, to make sure that I do have a good lock-in in the shoes, that everything feels good and feels spot on. And yeah, after I completed the sub 3 hour marathon, I had to walk back home, and this in total resulted in a distance of 45.92 kilometers in 3 hours and 33 minutes, which in itself already is a great achievement. But yeah, we're here to analyze my marathon run in 2 hours, 56 minutes and 34 seconds. Still can't believe it. Still feels unreal that I did it. Okay, let's analyze the run. As you can see down here in this diagram, my running pace was consistent. My running pace was super consistent, so I did not even notice an effect of getting tired toward the end. I was just speeding along. It was the perfect run. It was indeed the perfect run. This is so fantastic, seeing this
super consistent line. Wow, I'm amazed. I am really amazed by this run. It was perfect. It was really perfect. Okay, let's take a look at the splits. As said, the first kilometer was all about getting ready for the sub 3 hour marathon run, to warm myself up, to make sure that everything feels spot on. It did. It certainly did. And then just before reaching the river mine, I began the sub 3 hour marathon run. For the first 14 kilometers of the run, you always do have to subtract the kilometer by 1, because as said, the first kilometer was just to warm up. So yeah, for the first 14 kilometers, I was focusing on getting in some faster kilometers. So my goal was to run on average 4:12 to 4:14 pace throughout the marathon run. But for the first 10 kilometers, I really wanted to get in some 4:10 kilometer splits to build up some kind of gap in just to make sure that I do have some good gap when I get to the end of the marathon run and I get tired. I, however, was not really pushing it, so I was really trying to get in some good pace. But when I noticed, okay, this kilometer will be a little bit slower, then I was not pushing it. I was not really forcing myself to run faster than I actually need. I then thought, okay, let's just accept this 4:12, even though I was eyeing on a 4:10. Okay, 4:12 is fine. I will just try to make the next kilometer faster. And so for the first 14 kilometers, I was keeping track of the paces per kilometer until I really reached 10 kilometers of running at roughly 4:10. Once I reached this, as you can see here, I started to slow down a bit. Well, not really slowing down, but then it started to get a little bit more comfortable. Well, not that the beginning was not comfortable. It was really like I was right in the moment. I was really enjoying the first 14 kilometers. I just tried to run as fast as I wanted in a very relaxed way, and it worked. It really worked, as you can see here. So first kilometer 4:06, and 4:11, 4:09, 4:12, 4:12, 4:11, 4:10, 4:10, 4:05, 4:10, 4:08. Those 2 kilometers I was not really pushing it, especially because this segment, as you can see here, you can see it on the map, it's highlighted in blue. This is a little bit of a difficult segment of the track, so it was okay. It was okay that I just ran the desired pace for the rest of the marathon, and I just kept on going until I reached kilometer 14, where I then had 10 kilometers of 4:10, roughly 4:10 in total, and there it started to then get easier. So from kilometer 15 on, as you can see here, 4:13, 4:12, 4:13, 4:13, 4:13, 4:15, I think there. No, it was not one of the moments where I did a loop or where I turned around, but 4:15, 4:13, 4:11. Then I had a 4:08, not sure what happened there, but that's fine. Then 4:11, 4:12, 4:13, 4:08 again. And then we came back to a very consistent running from kilometer 29, 4:12, 4:12, 4:13, 4:12. Kilometer 39 was a 4:14, and kilometer 42 was a 4:11. As you can see, I did not slow down at all. So this is fantastic. I can't really say so much about these splits. I can just say for the first 15 kilometers, I was really living in the moment. It was really amazing. I think I can show this a little bit better when we use this diagram, as you then can see my position on the track. So I ran to basically one small village, which was located directly at the river Main, and from there on, because this was basically one of the first points of my total marathon run, I started to add some loops. So as you can see, I ran this direction, then there at roughly after 1 hour, after 14 kilometers, I turned around, ran back to the village. Then I started the second loop. This time I went a little bit further until you can see it down there at this point. So half an hour later, after I reached the first turning point, I got to the end of the loop. I ran back to the village. Then I started the second loop. I ran out there and came back again. And then from this point on, it was all the way back home. I did this because this route is the entire route, but this track is also the track I used for training. So in this case, most of the things closer to my home I knew pretty well, and getting home from a long run with the knowledge that okay, the entire segment would be 15 kilometers, so it would be 30 in total, which would have meant if I then get somewhere up here, I need to run out again to complete the last 12 kilometers. And this is when you basically can't see that track anymore because you're really tired of it. This would have been really exhausting, I feel, and that's the reason why I did this. As you can see here down again, so I came to that village, I ran along, I did a first 2-kilometer loop or 2.5-kilometer loop. So basically, as I came to the turning point in the village where I decided, okay, this is my turning point, from there on I ran for 2.5 kilometers, turned around, came back. Then I ran for, I think it were around 6 kilometers. There at this stage, there's another town down there, and there I turned around. So yeah, I added some loops there to get the needed 12 kilometers before finally running home. I basically, as I got, what is it? Yeah, here at this turning point, after I completed this first loop, so after I completed this smaller loop, which is at kilometer 17, so it's kilometer 16, I consumed my first gel. So I was roughly right with my discussion at the beginning of the video. So first gel was consumed at kilometer 16. And the second gel I consumed as I was on the way back, so around here, kilometer 32. So yeah, every 16 kilometers I consumed one pouch of the Morton Energy Gel, and roughly every 5 kilometers I drank a couple of sips of water. As said, it's just roughly 5 kilometers because it's not like in an official marathon where you have a lot of volunteers that build up those aid stations and so on. Here I just had to keep track of my performance and had to communicate when I need water. So in this case, this added a little bit of a challenge to get the water spot on, but it worked really well. And when we go through the splits again, as said, so the first 15 kilometers, the first 14 kilometers, I focused on getting in 4:10 per kilometer. with a few exceptions. So that's why it took me until kilometer 14 until I really had my gap I wanted to have. And then, as said, I started to settle in, as you can see here, by the consistent numbers of 413, 412, 413, 413, 413, 415, 413, 411. Okay, here I think in this segment I got a little bit excited because I knew, as you can see on the map down there, this is now the time where I do those loops. I was really excited about this, that I started with those loops. Until this point I lived in the moment there. I also knew exactly here, I mean, this is kilometer 22. I knew, okay, I made it halfway through. I completed the first half of the marathon, and this already gave me an amazing energy boost. And I think this energy boost resulted in, okay, let's run a 408 out of no good reason or so. And yeah, this kept on a little bit. This high spirit. I really was happy. Okay, I'm now in this phase of the loops, so I did a good thing. Things were feeling well. Then I settled back in. I thought more about until kilometer 34. Okay, I need to save some energy here. After I was in the loops and I got finally out of the loops, I was then, okay, no, it's crunch time. It's basically crunch time. So let's save energy. Let's keep it consistent. Let's keep it right at the pace I wanted to run. So between 412 and 414, and yeah, keep it spot on to save as much energy. As I hit kilometer 35, I felt still amazing. I felt really good, and I noticed, wow, my legs, they okay, I noticed a little bit of some fatigue in the legs, but they're still feeling great. I felt great. I felt amazing in this moment, and I knew, okay, this seems to be it. It's going well, and yeah, this then gave me some energy. This really gave me some energy for 10, for 12, for 11, for 9. So I really gained some speed. Then this 414, this is a terrible segment, I must say. This part here, it's, I don't know what the issue is. Either it's there's a very, although it's not even shown here, there's a very small incline, and this part of the track is just annoying. And yeah, you can see it in my pace. It was one of the slowest kilometers because this specific part is just crazy. I'm not sure what's wrong there, but yeah, it's crazy with some slight inclines and so on. You always feel, okay, I'm running faster than you actually are, and so 414. But yeah, then you can see I increased speed again to 411, 412, and the last kilometer is the kilometer you could watch the video, the last kilometer of the Quest for Pace run, 411. After basically the end of the marathon, I was still consistent, and yeah, this is fantastic. This is so great. I'm just overwhelmed by this. So cadence is 172. Yeah, as you can see, cadence also very consistent. So everything is I just did everything. You can clearly see, okay, at this point here, I had to run up the bridge or so. That's why we do have some grade or so. As I started to run up the bridge, going over the River Main, right after the first kilometer, I started the marathon. There you can see that the cadence increases, the pace increased a little bit, and then it remained consistent. It remained consistent until the very end. So this is great. This was really fantastic. And yeah, those are the splits. It was really amazing. as discussed here, reaching kilometer 35, knowing okay, I'm now only 7 kilometers away from my goal, legs feeling great, saved enough energy, and then yeah, I basically started to fly or so. So wow, this was great, and yeah, that's the analysis of my 2-hour 56 minutes and 34 seconds marathon run. Amazing, just amazing. I hope you found that interesting. And here, back to me.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this analysis of my sub 3-hour marathon run. I hope you got some ideas how you can approach your next run, your next big run you are training for. And in this case, I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, stay motivated, stay running. See you!